I'm Charles Sturgis.
And I'm Will Plows, and welcome to episode 6 of the Drive-By podcast. An episode where we are actually recording on camera.
We're actually filming ourselves. Do you like our studio?
I like it.
I like it. It's a bit makeshift.
It is.
But it will do for the time being.
We've made the best out of a bad situation.
Exactly.
Yeah, how are we opening this week?
We had an F1 race.
Another one.
Another one at the Red Bull Ring.
It was interesting though.
Styria. Do we know where that is?
It's in
probably
Styria.
the region.
It is the region, isn't it?
Mm.
Had me in hysteria though. Well, the last 5 laps and the opening lap.
No. What? No.
What?
That is a crap joke.
That's a good joke. I make good jokes on this show. Anyway, yeah.
God.
It went very interesting all the way from qualifying, I think, the Styrian Grand Prix, because it was in the wet, wasn't it?
It did. I mean, that is probably the perfect situation for Lewis Hamilton. Wet qualifying because he's a demon in the rain.
Yeah.
Dry race where he can lead from the front.
Exactly.
20-second gap did he have on the rest of the pack?
Absolutely
Unbelievable
ridiculous.
amount of time.
He is an incredible driver.
He is
Absolutely
a very
incredible
good
driver. But what happened to Ferrari on the first lap? It took
Oh.
3 laps for this to actually be more interesting than all of last.
No, 3 corners.
3 corners, sorry. Yeah, to be more interesting than anything last season.
Yeah, Charles Leclerc apologised for what he called a sim racing move.
Is that what he described it
He
as?
described it as a sim racing move.
Because ironically, his girlfriend did exactly the same thing when she was sim racing. She crashed into
His
Sebastian.
girlfriend did some sim racing.
Yeah, whilst he videoed it whilst his girlfriend did some
right.
e-sim, whatever you're into.
But the real man of the race?
Lando
Norris.
Gotta be Lando.
Gotta be Lando.
That last lap had me as a full Formula gasm.
You had
I love it when I'm quite nervy, so I quite like it when he went full strategy 1 to scenario 7.
Oh.
Press hold, overtake for 5 seconds, then turn off into turn 4.
He did absolutely mince the
3
Who
places.
was it? Perez and Daniel Ricciardo.
And
who he
Stroll.
just had. Oh, and then Stroll
And
at the
Stroll,
end.
yeah. No,
Just-
Stroll. No, Perez was at the end. Remember Perez?
Oh yes, it was Stroll, Ricciardo, and then
Yeah.
had Perez on the last
yeah.
lap.
Perez, almost a third Mercedes now to take out the Red Bull.
Oh, because the car's practically a Mercedes.
A pink Mercedes.
I'm sorry, pink Mercedes sounds like a
What?
lady toy, a
sex toy?
marital aid. Yes, a sex toy.
The rampant pink Mercedes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does look incredibly similar to the 19 car, doesn't it?
Well, haven't they been
19
protested
Mercedes.
against?
Yes, Renault have launched a proper complaint against.
I got bored reading that. What actually
Well,
was
it was
about?
the bit that I saw was Appendix 2A of
12C
side
or whatever it is.
14B. No, but essentially it comes down. Their issue that they had was with the brake ducts, the brake cooling ducts on the RP, whatever it is, RP20 of Racing Point,
Yeah.
and they've taken issue with that because it's practically identical to 2019's Mercedes brake ducts.
And can you not use their parts then?
They can't because that's come on as a listed part,
Right.
as ones that they can't buy from other. You can't have someone within Formula One designing it. You can get external people to do it. You can
But not
pay
someone
another
who's
company,
currently racing.
but not someone who's basically racing.
Oh,
you.
right. Okay, yeah.
So that's the issue.
Well, it didn't do them any good anyway, did it? They came, 6th and 7th?
I know, but for Racing Point, they were top of the pack. Well, then McLaren put up a good fight with Lando there. And
Shame about Sainz, though, who started 3rd and then came, was it 9th or
I think
8th?
he didn't come very.
Because of a
come
pit
very good.
stop, which took about 20 seconds.
I feel sorry for Carlos Sainz because he signed on for Ferrari next year.
Yeah, very
Poor
true.
sod.
We get crashed into by Leclerc.
He did.
All the time.
And then Verstappen and Bottas had a good battle, didn't they?
Lap 66 onwards.
Is that what it
between those
was?
two. Yeah. That was fantastic, wasn't it? Going out the outside and around the inside, and
I watched
true good race.
I watched the Channel 4 highlight
Is that because
version.
you're a cheapskate and don't have
It is
Sky?
Well, it's funny you should say that because this is essentially, paraphrasing ever so slightly, on what David Coulthard said
Yeah.
in the commentary of it. So when they were having their little battle,
Yeah.
he said, fantastic from Verstappen, he saw the overtake, he overtook him, then was re-overtaken and overtook him again.
I mean, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong,
Not wrong,
but,
David.
But honestly,
No.
I'd rather pay £10 a month to hear some proper
No, you
commentary.
wouldn't.
He's not wrong. I've still got your Sky Go on my iPad.
Do you still use my Sky Go?
I can still watch it, but I didn't have time, so I just watched the highlights.
I don't get my internet history on your iPad either.
I think Racing Point will get away with this.
I think they should do as well. I think it should be like the olden days where you just go, okay, fine, don't worry, just go on to the next race.
Yeah, just carry on.
Yeah.
But I think Renault had an issue with this a while ago.
Oh, really?
but they wanted to just give it a couple of races just to see
if it made any difference.
If it hadn't, I don't think they would have cared. Which I think is wrong, and I think that's probably why they'll get away with it. The stewards will go, well, why didn't you bring it up before?
Yeah, very true.
Oh, we wanted to see a little bit before, but no, shut up.
Yeah.
Race. Get a better car.
Get a better car, yeah. But it's not really cracked up what it was meant to be this season, is it, the Renault car?
No, they had high hopes for it.
And Ricciardo have had some good battles. I think it was lap 19 when Ricciardo finally got past. I'm good with this lap, son, but yeah, lap 19 when they finally got past around the outside. But had a good battle with Ocon. Just a shame Ocon then just didn't finish the race.
No, he didn't.
But I'm looking forward to Hungary, where Ferrari will have their proper car.
They will have a proper car, won't they? They'll have more of because they're essentially running on last year's car, aren't
with
they?
A few updates.
So, with a few updates. Actually, funny enough, while we're here, let's do their F1 predictions for next week.
Okay, go on then.
Hungary, I think Ferrari will do all right. I don't think they're going to be winning.
No, they won't be winning. They've got the new car, so they might take a while just to get used to it in practice and stuff. I think it'll be obvious, Hamilton 1, maybe Verstappen 2 is what I'm going for. Bottas 3.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I probably agree with you there. Ferrari I think Ferrari will do all right because it's quite a good track for them because it's quite windy. There's not too many straights because that engine is properly down on power.
Yeah,
I think
very true. Unlike last season, which was up on power on the straights, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, and then not so good in the corners. But Mercedes are just too consistent, so I think Hamilton first.
Yeah, I probably agree with that. He's just a phenomenal
Maybe
driver.
If he wins that, he's going to put Bottas out of contention for the championship in the second race, isn't he?
Third race, but do you reckon?
Race, yeah.
If Bottas is kind of the number 2 driver, but he has actually bit of news in the F1. He has been extended for 2021.
They're keeping him.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Which I don't see as a bad thing.
No.
The CEO said, "We're keeping our boys." That's how we described it. We're keeping our boys.
Keeping the boys. We'll lock them up again for winter testing, and then hopefully they'll probably come back swinging again.
Which is a shame because George Russell, I think he's got a car that isn't good enough for him.
I think he's not good.
It's very not. Do you know what he actually said, George Russell?
What?
He said it wasn't as quick as they thought it'd be in race trim. So in qualifying trim, it's what they thought, but in race trim, it's not the same.
What sort of trim?
I don't know.
What does trim
Square
mean?
cut, natural fade, I don't know. But yeah, it's just not as fast in race as in qualifying.
No.
It's just stupid.
But
I feel sorry for him because they haven't got their act together really.
no, the back markers on that race were
Haas,
Alfa Romeo, which, to be fair, managed to keep all of their wheels on.
Very
so
true.
You've got to give them that.
That's the first race in a while.
They managed to keep. They managed to stop their wheels flying off.
Yeah.
I wonder if Kimi Räikkönen actually noticed that it came off. He's like, why?
That's alright. I'll just go back.
For sure, the wheel come off. Yeah.
Why is he Italian? It's not Flavio Briatore.
Oh yeah, sorry, Flavio Briatore when he said, "Hey, the wheel come off in Formula One."
Yeah.
But
what you were telling me about Hungary, they're very strict.
It's they
get distracted by Flavio.
I'm just
Flavio.
It's very easy to tell what people are going to say in Formula One. The team did a good job for sure. The car was good. The track was fine. Can I go now? Essentially, I've got 2 women waiting in my.
Lad.
What are you on about? Yeah, so I'm looking forward to Hungary. They will got a bit of an issue though.
They're being quite strict, aren't they?
So much so, they'll be able to go from the track.
Yeah.
The Hungaroring to the hotel. Hungaroring from the track to the hotel to the track.
Yeah. So they're taking the James Hunt approach to it, basically what they're doing.
Hotel back to hotel room.
Hotel.
Race.
Track. Sex. Hotel.
Maybe there's
on the way,
a bar in that hotel that they'll be able to go to.
I can't imagine any driver now that's like James Hunt. Can you think of a single one that's like James
Kimi
Hunt?
Räikkönen is probably the closest.
Married, and he's got kids.
Yeah, I know that, but I think in the spirit, I think Kimi Räikkönen's probably.
Yeah, probably. I think you're probably right.
Would you like my mug?
It suits you very well.
It does.
I prefer mine though. Drive by.
Yeah, I forgot my at Charlie Drives mug. I forgot that one.
Have you?
Yeah,
Is that why you're using your other
hence
mug?
why I'm using the cock mug.
Oh, what a shame.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to Hungary. But yes, essentially, sorry, I got a little bit sidetracked there with my mug. But they will be going from the ring. They'll be going from the track to the hotel to the track.
And what happens if then
they get locked up? Genuinely,
so what's actually going to happen is there'll be some Ferrari people paying the police. Pick up Lewis Hamilton, stick him in the middle of the square in Budapest.
What, you get Bonotto in a balaclava, lobbing Mercedes.
Go get to
mechanics
Lewis. He needs to be banished in the next
hotel.
race.
That's a genius idea, actually.
And then he'll be put away.
Brilliant. So they'll be down on people.
Yeah,
Excellent.
Yeah. So that's it anyway.
That's
our
F1 done. So we can now
F1
move on and do the news.
The news. So what have you got for me this week?
Well, there's talk of Citroën returning to rallying.
Really?
Well, they said they might. Well, they didn't say they wouldn't return to
That
rallying.
would be really cool if they did do.
It would be, because they've been out of it for a couple of years now, and they made some fantastic... I mean, Sebastian Loeb was one of their best drivers.
Yeah.
He did stormingly well. They've been champions a good couple of times now, but
Yeah.
they said they left because it didn't fit with what they wanted to do.
What, make cool, fun cars that's sporty?
No, well, I think they mean, well, what Citroën do at the moment?
Crossovers.
Make small crossovers with a 2-litre 4-cylinder engine in them, really.
Like every other car brand, really.
Yeah, actually, could you do rallying? A specific set of crossover rallying?
Rally crossover.
Oh, I like that.
Oh,
Rally
yeah.
crossover. That's a good idea. So what would you have? You could have the
The C4,
Citroën
5? Crossover.
C3 Aircross
C3
is one of them.
Yeah.
Ateca. You could have the Seat Ateca.
The Seat Ateca. You mean the Ateca Cupra? Whatever it is.
No. There's a Seat Ateca, and then there's a Cupra Ateca.
Oh, that's it. Yeah,
It's two of the same. No, you have the Bogo versions. Mazda CX-5, Ford Cougar, or whatever that is
or
now.
Puma.
That new Ford Puma. Is that
Yeah.
a place? But yeah, I think that's a good idea.
So
you
what
have
it
like,
is?
sort of rallycross, bit of tarmac.
Yeah.
But then you make the dirt section really bumpy and like a couple of jumps in it.
What I was actually going to say then was what it basically is, making really disheartening cars really cool. Which
Exactly.
would be a good ploy to actually sell them.
That's not a bad idea.
Consumer advice right there for
Well, it's manufacturer advice for
advice.
Citroën. Do some rallycross in your boring cars.
Because that would,
Excellent.
I'd buy one.
Oh, absolutely.
That'd be awesome. I probably wouldn't buy
Well,
one.
maybe you could buy this.
Oh no, what is it?
In good segue into the new BMW iX3, an electric car.
I don't know the i3, but now it's going to be...
Well, it's basically the combustion engine car, but it's as ugly as that, but it's got some blue on it now, so it's got a bit of blue around
So that
the
means
back.
it's electric.
Yeah, bit of blue down the side. It's basically saying, this is electric. Yep, so we can move on there. Excellent. There's a new BMW.
Not let you get back into your rant about BMW like you did last
No,
week.
I'm not getting into that. But in Italy, we had the fastest road car ever appear.
Really?
Mm.
What, the new car?
Yeah, what was it?
Is it a Ferrari of some sort?
No.
Is it a Lamborghini?
No.
Is it Pagani?
It's Ford Focus.
Not surprised.
No, exactly.
What a machine they are.
Ford Focus was caught on a speed camera doing 437 miles per hour.
That's put England to shame. You know, remember the last time we talked about lockdown speeding?
Exactly.
That has put England to shame.
I
Good on the
said-
Italians. Good old Italians.
I said, get out there and do some 200 miles an hour.
437 miles an hour.
It was a glitchy speed camera.
You don't say.
I know.
Did
Funny
they
that.
actually find the bloke for it?
The police gave him a $1,000 fine and 10
Dollars?
points. $1,000.
Not euros?
The equivalent of
Oh,
$1,000 fines and 10 points.
Poor bloke.
And the Italian people gave him a round of
Applause,
applause.
yes.
Faster.
You can come on this show, whoever you are.
Oh, yes, absolutely. What have you got for me? Anything interesting?
I have the new Ford Bronco, which I woke up this morning, saw the new release pictures, and I woke up very excited.
Oh, ooh.
I know.
Do you not do
Proper.
it naturally? Being a young, virile man?
I am, but then the Ford Bronco gave me a full-on.
Oh,
Bronco.
right. It gave you a bucking Bronco.
I was a bucking Bronco this morning.
It's a good looking car.
Brilliant looking car. It looks a bit like the Suzuki Jimny,
Yeah.
as opposed to the Suzuki Cole and the Suzuki.
Suzuki Frank and Clive.
Yeah. Anyway, the Ford Bronco.
Jimny.
We're getting too carried away with
Okay,
that.
carry on.
The Jimny.
Jimny.
Sounds like a chimney. Anyway, Ford Bronco. You know, it was introduced in about 1965 and
Yeah.
looked brilliant car. And they
Oh, it
stopped
looked
it.
good,
Stopped it in '96.
Did it
So
last
had a
that long?
31-year run.
Had a very long
Not bad.
time.
Not
No.
bad at all. Anyway, they brought it back and they've actually made it look just as cool as the original. So they haven't lost that old design at all. So you know the new Defender?
It looks a bit...
Doesn't
it's
look
in
like the old
same-
Defender.
I think the Bronco follows roughly the same design language as the old one. But
Yeah, it
modern.
does. It does. But what I was saying is the new Defender doesn't really follow the same language as the old Defender.
No, that's
So
true.
I actually quite like what Ford have been doing there.
No, they've done that very well, actually.
Hasn't quite got the same off-roading ability as
No.
the new Defender, but it has got comes with a 2.3 litre EcoBoost, or you can have a 2.7 litre V6.
That's the one you'd have.
Bit of a shame because it used to come with a V8, but anyway, but what really annoyed me
Yeah.
is this new off-roading management technology thing.
Oh, like an adaptive.
Yeah. So it's
traction
new
thing.
terrain management system, and they've labelled it GOAT. So like a mountain goat. I don't know, the greatest of all time. I don't know. But what does it actually mean?
That it supposedly means, go over any terrain.
Was it
Fairly
all terrain?
literal. Or all terrain. It goes over all terrain.
That is a bit like the Americans making everything to sound
It's just
exactly
quite
what
simple.
it is, isn't it?
It is very quite
Sidewalk.
simple.
Yeah.
What are you on about?
Sorry, but
Sidewalk.
it's what the Americans do, isn't it? All the Americans do is they take something and they make it actually
Very
literal.
quite simple.
So horse riding,
Has to be
horseback riding.
Horseback riding. I know what you mean now.
Yeah.
I think that's a proper Jeep Wrangler rival. That is.
No, I completely agree with you. I think it looks brilliant. I think it looks better in this short wheelbase than it does in the
They
long
always
wheelbase.
do.
They do, and I like the hole in the door.
Yeah, they
That-
do
so you can actually
the
see
door
yourself
panel thing.
doing little paddles. I think that's really, really cool.
But with the 4-door one, which I don't think you can do in the Jeep Wrangler, is
The
when you
long
take
wheelbase.
when you take all the bits off a Jeep Wrangler, you have to kind of leave them at home.
Really?
Yeah,
Or
we're
live on
just
the side of
gonna
the
have
road, just
Well,
fly
yeah,
tipping.
exactly.
Fly tipping.
Fly tipping your own doors. But no, you have to leave them at home, then go out, and then come back if it rains, obviously.
Okay, yeah,
but
yeah.
with the 4-door one, you can put all the bits, roof and doors, in the boot.
So what it actually
is a
is,
lot
it's a
better.
transportation device for its own roof.
Exactly.
Brilliant. Why don't the
Amazing.
Americans think of it all, don't they?
Did you see the video that
No,
they released with
I
it?
haven't
Because I
done.
saw that, and the wheel articulation is really. I think it's probably better than most Land Rover ones.
How much is it?
Oh, I don't know the exact figure, but what you can do is while you're in the middle of a rock crawl, so you've got one wheel right up in the arch and one hanging.
Oh, right,
there,
yeah.
You can then press the thing and press the little button, and then it will drop the wheels
Really?
even more, so you can get more traction over the rocks.
That's
But
really
you can do
cool.
it. The amazing thing is, I don't think even Land Rover can do that when you're under load.
Mm-hmm.
So it shoots at like 35-inch tyres. Oh, so you got a
35-inch
wheel about.
tyres?
You got a wheel about that
So the
big,
12-inch wheel.
and all that is tyre.
That is
And
awesome.
It's basically got tractor wheels on it, but I think they're brilliant. I'd
That's
love
so
to see
cool.
it.
I'd actually quite like one in England.
Does it look better than a Defender?
No. I love the new Defender. You're not going to get any bias off me.
So a short wheelbase Bronco or a short wheelbase Defender? Would
What,
you
the new
picking?
90?
Mm.
I'd have the new 90.
Would you really? It's got a
Yeah.
bigger engine in it though, the Bronco. It's got V6.
I know, but I just think the Defender looks so
400 foot-pounds of torque in that.
good. Really?
Mm.
It's 306 horsepower.
It's got a bit of horsepower, yeah.
Not bad, but I think I'd still have the Defender.
Yeah?
I know it'd be more sophisticated to actually drive and the actual technology.
It
in
would. The interior of the Bronco looks very similar to the Defender.
Does it? I've not seen the
when you
inside.
see
I've
the
only seen the
inside of it.
outside pictures. That's as far as
But
I got
I'm
before.
very much
I
looking
got
forward
too excited.
Would I have one in the UK? I probably would.
I probably
think
would. I'd have one over an F-150, the new
Oh, yeah.
F-150 in the
Oh,
UK.
it's too big.
Imagine driving that down a country lane.
Oh,
Especially where we
terrible.
live around here. They're all about the same width as this table. aren't
Exactly. But I think the Bronco is probably much more manageable because it'd probably be slightly bigger than a 90 Defender.
they? Yeah.
So I think
Very
I
true.
would probably have that. So very well done.
What, you'd have that
For-
over a Defender?
Do you know what? I think I might. It's more fun.
Really?
Yeah, I think I would actually. I think I'd rather have that.
Yeah. It's a
myself.
tough choice, but anyway. Bringing off the end of the Ford Bronco, because I've got some more news from Formula 1. Probably should have
Okay.
mentioned it in the Formula 1 section, but anyway, it's news.
Yeah.
Mugello has been added back
I
to
saw.
the calendar.
Mm.
So Mugello's Ferrari owned,
Yeah.
and it'll be Ferrari's 1000th Grand Prix.
I hope they get their car sorted out
Do
before.
you reckon
then.
they will?
I think they probably
I think
will.
they're going to win by default.
Well, if it's Italian, if it's Ferrari owned,
Yeah.
do you think they'll have it set up better to that? To
Yeah,
the car?
probably. Probably will do, won't they? Because they could probably just tweak it.
They probably use that track a lot for testing and that. Oh, actually,
They'll put road spikes out. They'll
Road-
put spikes.
well, you remember Robot
War?
Wars?
What with the flippers and
I think yes. I think you'll
so you have the Bonotto with a big control panel.
So you'll drop one section
Yeah,
of the track
yeah,
and
yeah.
let the racing points go in, and then you'll have. Do you remember the house robots as well? They had
The big,
the big
motherships that used to
yeah,
come
the
in.
big buggers that used to come in
Yeah.
and smash them. I think that'd be Bonotto in a JCB, just flipping cars over.
They'll
and
add a
smashing-
tunnel so they can go through without any lights on, a bulldozer at the end.
like the Italians.
Just
do.
like the
That's a
Italians
good
do.
idea, actually. Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be really good, actually.
Cool. I'd like to see that.
Well, there was talk actually. It was quite a few years ago now, but to make F1 more interesting, Bernie Eccleston.
What, he wanted big mothership robots to come on?
Not quite, but he suggested that they poured water on the track in some sections.
Really?
Yeah, no, that was the thing a while ago, which I think is completely stupid.
That is stupid, isn't it?
But I
I
think
can imagine they could do that.
Yeah, I think maybe with the old cars, like pull out the 2018 cars and let's have a demolition derby in them. Let's just absolutely
That'd be
smash
awesome.
them up.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, it'd be good to see Mugello, because Mugello apparently is going to be the most physically demanding track in terms of corner speed and everything.
Oh, for the
because
driver.
it's so spirally.
It is. It's all wiggly and there's
Isn't
some
it?
straight bits.
Beautiful track though.
It's. Do you know what I just said?
What?
It's all wiggly and then there are some straight bits. Doesn't that go for every Formula One track? Apart from Bahrain,
Yeah. Formula One
And
coverage from Charles.
China. Oh no, that's got quite wiggly bits.
Yeah,
in
it
it
has. America.
America, there's that. Actually, it's got some wiggly bits.
It's
in
got
it.
that one bit, hasn't it? It's just like, ooh.
Yeah, it is. I hate that bit of the
Yeah,
track.
I hate that
It's
track, to be
boring.
honest with you.
I'm
It's a
not
bit
a
boring.
huge fan of the Circuit of the Americas, is it called?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Well, that's
Original-
it for car. It's been a bit of a slow week for car news.
No, there's another
really.
thing.
What's that?
Sochi.
Oh,
Sochi's also-
Sochi's back.
So Sochi's back as well on the original weekend.
That it was supposed
the
to be.
27th of September, I think I'm right in saying.
Mm.
Or everyone will be flying there. And then what the Russian authorities, though, amazingly have said is they want to have fans there
At the track.
at the track, around the race.
Yeah.
I don't think they've actually heard of coronavirus.
Has Vlad not told them?
Don't
that?
think so, no.
He's not.
Because what
he's
he
not
says is
privy
gospel.
to that information.
Exactly.
With his
Exactly.
shirt off.
So I just don't think that will work, especially what's going on in the world. I don't think they'll have fans. But it'd be good to see it
don't
back
think
there.
they'll
But it's not a great track, is it?
Oh
Sochi?
god, it's so
It's just an
boring. I don't
industrial
care
estate.
that Sochi's back. It's just a track in a
Yeah.
industrial estate.
Yeah, but I think that rounds off everything.
I think that's pretty much it for motoring news. So I've got a good drive-by destroy for you. So let's move on.
And cue the sting. So Charles actually hasn't told me what we are doing this week, so he'll be surprised. So
No,
what have
we're
you
not.
got for me this week?
And as we're doing the fun section of the podcast,
Yes.
we've switched to Rose.
Yeah, to make it a bit more fun.
Right,
Right.
today we will be doing for drive-by destroy
Go on then.
semi-vintage Formula One cars.
Ooh.
So and I've not told you.
Ooh.
So this is all completely new to you. So, number one is the Tyrrell P34 six-wheeler.
The one that Jody Scheckter drove with Ronnie Peterson.
No, not Ronnie Peterson, a French guy whose name escapes me.
Oh, Sever. No, it wasn't
Do
Sever.
you know what? I don't think Jody Scheckter ever drove that car.
Yeah, he did. Jody Scheckter and Ronnie Peterson both did.
Drove the...
Yeah, don't argue with me.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. So we've got that.
Yeah.
And then we've got the Ferrari F2004, Michael Schumacher's car, where he won 12 out of the 13 races in that car. One of the best Ferraris of all time. One of the best Formula One cars of all time.
And it
And-
makes a hell of a noise.
It makes it. I think that's probably the best noise in Formula One.
Yeah, that or the 2005 Renault.
Yeah, that was a good engine, but this is proper car.
Yeah.
This F2004.
Go on then.
And the Hesketh 308, because I know how much you love James Hunt, so I've
Oh.
properly done you there.
That's his 1975 car, so not 2000, 1975 car. Which
Yeah.
is the first one at Zandvoort, so I'm just being a nerd now.
Finger.
Shit, am
James
I
Hunt.
going first or are you going first?
No, you're going first.
This
It's
is
all
going to
on
be
you.
properly difficult.
Oh yeah, I know it is.
Right, so I'll start off with the six-wheeler. The
Yep.
six-wheeler was incredibly complicated.
It was. Do you know how big the
Is it-
tyres were on there?
Not very.
10 inches.
Well, the ones at the front were tiny, but the ones at the back,
Were big. The
enormous.
standard
Yeah.
size.
because that's a wing era.
Hmm.
So they've got the Ferrari 2004.
Well, story. If we do the story from the P34 Tyrrell, I read that Jackie Stewart was on a plane back from the South African Grand Prix,
Right.
and one of the engineers got up to first class where he was seated, and told him about this project, and he apparently choked on his champagne. I assume it was in
Because
first
it was such
class.
a stupid idea.
Yeah, they found out that the lift at the front of the car was reduced by having four wheels, obviously because it's going to be heavier,
Yeah.
and it took it up by 40 horsepower, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Won a race or two, but it wasn't spectacular.
It was dreadful to look after. Absolutely dreadful to fix. And then we've got the Ferrari.
Had a brake
2004,
issue most
which
of the time.
Sounds amazing. Michael Schumacher's probably most famous.
And who
car.
else did he drive it? Barrichello.
Barrichello, yeah.
Barrichello, yeah.
Remember that 2002 Austria where he let him go past at the final corner. Anyway, we'll get into that. And then you've got Hesketh, Sex Breakfast of Champions, Sex is a high performance thing.
Yeah,
Shit, that's a really difficult one.
I know.
that is.
But they did. Interestingly, I found out when looking at this car, they did the 308B,
Yeah.
which had a livery with a girl on the front, a scantily clad lady with the large
Surprise,
breasts on
surprise.
there. Funnily enough, on there. It's a bit boring as opposed to the 2004, who had that fantastic red with the Marlborough livery on It's just good. I mean, I know the modern
I
Ferrari
do
is
miss
pretty much the
having
same.
the Marlboro kind of colouring
Proper
and cigarette advertising on
yeah.
cars. My favourite thing about the Hesketh though is it was built in the barns at his estate.
Yeah, in the stables.
At the
wasn't it?
stables, yeah, which I think is really cool. It's meant they could save all the money.
Wasn't particularly reliable though.
Built by a man called Bubbles.
Bubbles.
Always
Always a good name.
But yeah, okay, so I would. I would drive.
Let me spin it around for you.
I'd drive Michael Schumacher's.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd drive Michael Schumacher's just because I want to have a go in that car. Just as much as I'd want to have a go in Senna's 1990 McLaren.
I'm working on the basis that the one that you buy will sit in a room.
Exactly.
In which we got. You're not going to be able to drive it, really.
What am I going to think of when I think of it?
But you're going to look at it.
So yeah, so I'm gonna drive the F2004 because I want to hear that noise. I want to be where Michael Schumacher sat. Going around 12 out of 13 races is just impeccable.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I'd drive the F2004. I would destroy, reluctantly, the Tyrrell six-wheeler.
Yeah.
Which is a shame, and I know it's kept in Jody Schechter's shed.
Is it actually?
Yeah, on his farm, where he actually does water buffalo, making mozzarella cheese. But anyway, that's what he does.
Does he actually?
Yeah. But the Tyrrell...
Schechter Buffalo,
yeah,
mozzarella.
Schechter buffalo. Anyway, yeah, I'd destroy the Tyrrell, just because it's probably too complicated to look after. Marvellous thing, though. But yeah, it didn't quite work. And then, just because he is my absolute idol in life, James Hunt.
Yeah.
Coolest guy to ever race, I think, because you know when they're in their Formula 3 days,
Yeah.
James Hunt would have to cut through wire, he'd have to go into different car parks to siphon fuel from cars to then power his van.
So he sucked fuel out of
People's cars. The best thing was, though, he'd have to unlock them. So some of the cars had locks on the
fuel tanks.
because it had such a big thing of siphoning going on. They actually had to look for all the cars at night which didn't have locks on, siphon the fuel out, put it into their van so they get to the next race. You don't see that happening in Carlin racing Formula 3, do you?
No, you don't see Lewis Hamilton nicking fuel out of a Vauxhall.
Which is where he's going wrong. It's where he's going wrong.
Is that where he's going wrong? Is that where everyone's gone wrong?
And then the best story was had a race one day, and so the night before he was siphoning fuel, and he got caught by the police, and he got nicked, put into jail. And Nicky Lauda had to go and bail him out. Because, you know, one of them was good with money and one of them wasn't very good with money. You can make your mind up with who's that. But yeah, so that's the car I'd buy is the Hesketh 308 because it would just remind me of my hero in life is James Hunt. I'd love to look at it. I'd love the story behind it, how it came about, and just kind of everything that was what's his name, the Lord Hesketh put behind it.
The whole backstory to it.
Absolutely. And they actually managed to win a Formula 1 race in their first season.
Yeah.
At Zandvoort. I think that's awesome. And
was it Zandvoort then?
Yeah, the Dutch Grand Prix over the sand dunes. Awesome stuff. Awesome. Oh, it gets my hair standing up.
Oh gosh.
Charles has got me on a
whole. You got goosebumps. Right.
Yeah. What would you do?
Okay. So we've got the Tyrrell P34, the Ferrari 2004, and the Hesketh.
This is a difficult one.
It is incredibly difficult, which is why I picked them.
It's a lot more difficult than remember those three cars of the same platform.
Yeah, well, I will be driving the same one as you.
I don't blame you.
I want to drive one of the fastest F1 cars of all time. Best sounding.
Where Michael Schumacher
sat.
Yeah.
I think that would probably be the best. Do you know, it still holds lap records at like Albert Park and Hungary and things, yeah. I swear it does.
Was it Ross Brawn who helped engineer that car? It was, wasn't it? He was at Ferrari.
No, I couldn't tell you. I couldn't remember. Possibly.
Yeah, I think
it sounds about right, actually, yeah. I'll be driving the Ferrari. I will be buying the Tyrrell.
No.
Because it's just such an awesome looking, funky looking car.
It is, I will give it that.
The great thing is, it's of a time when you could do things like that. So you've got the fan car. Do you remember the fan car? Was that a Brabham?
It was a Brabham, wasn't it? With Nicky Lauda was driving it. The big fan. Yeah. With the big fan at the back.
Oh, right,
really cool. And then they had in about 1970s, they put like plane wings on the top of the back of the car.
Oh yes, yeah.
I really miss the 70s era.
That's my thing. The Tyrrell,
because the Tyrrell and the Hesketh are from the 70s.
Yeah, but I think the Tyrrell is a car from a bygone era where you could just go
mad,
knackers to it. Let's just go berserk. Make a fan car, make a car with four little wheels at the front.
One of my favourite photos actually is of Ronnie Peterson sat in it, whilst James Hunt overlooks and asks him loads of questions about it.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's really cool.
It is a very cool looking car.
It's an awesome.
It's not it wasn't a great car. It won a couple of races, but it was dogged with it. But as a thing to have, I think
Yeah.
that'd be. So I would be quite reluctantly, because it looks
not-
a bit boring.
And because it's not the 1976 car.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, the 1976 car would probably be better. But the 308E was not a good looking
No.
car because that had an awful livery. What was it? Penthouse and Rizzler.
Was
That
it?
was, yeah, it was Penthouse. Two more. What could be more James
Yeah,
Hunt
yeah.
than Penthouse and Rizzler as your sponsors? But I just don't think the 308's all that interesting to look at. Plus, I don't like the tall airbox on it. I think that makes it look
No,
a bit
I
ugly.
agree with you.
So I will be buying
The Tyrrell.
the Tyrrell, driving the 2004 and destroying the Heska.
Yeah, I can see that. I just
No,
think,
you're properly disagreeing.
I
with me,
really am
think.
disagreeing with that.
You are. You're just being nice.
I am being nice.
I like it. I'd have
That's a
that.
really hard drive-by display. That's actually
That's
the
what I
hardest
picture.
one.
I think that's the hardest we've ever done. And it just occurred to me, we've done a lot of Formula One this episode, so I thought, let's do Formula One cars.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Well, I think that brings to a close
Our first ever video recorded.
our first ever video recorded episode. And thank you very much
For watching.
for watching and
been-
tuning in. And hopefully we'll be able to film it next time. And we will see you again.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.